Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines this morning. We got a legal analyst talking about seeing the expert witness list for the SEC and Ripple's expert witness list. You're going to want all of that. Dethroning the U.S. dollar. I'm going to give you the reasons why it won't happen. Bank of America's in the news, BIS, Stellar, and Ripple. And we got the British pound stablecoin. Watch out, everybody. USD Tether, a private but public counterfeit digital dollar. That's what I'm telling you. And we're also going to take a look at XRP price targets from technical analysts and forecast price. You're going to want every bit of it, but we got to roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen. Everything that we're talking about here today, $975 billion market cap for cryptocurrency. Good morning. We're up 5.4%. It is July 15, 2022. Bitcoin right now back over 20,000 strong, 20,800 plus. We see Ethereum up now $200 plus at 1,200 plus. And we see XRP sitting at the number 7 spot at 33 cents this morning. We're up 7.2% in the 24 hour. How about that one? Let's take a look at the range of price very quickly. Range of price for XRP showing right now 32 cents on the bottom and 35 on the top. We got a wide range this morning. We'll keep an eye on it. Ladies and gentlemen, Masterworks, you know I love it. You know I love being able to participate in commoditized fine art, blue chip investments, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a creed on my investment strategy and my digital perspectives, not financial advice. I use all the time on this channel. A lot of you know it. I'm stacking my pennies next to their dollars. That's exactly what I'm doing here. Similar works of these artists. Look at this. This one right here, Gerhard Richter, 20% plus on similar works. Nothing's guaranteed, but I tell you what, I love diversifying, and I love knowing that when you diversify in Masterworks art that they offer, you're crushing the S&P here. And I know that I am in something that is way different than crypto. I know I'm in something that is way different than gold. And that really appeals to me when I can get true diversity in my portfolio. Link for the description underneath the video. 450,000 people can't be wrong. That's how many people participate in Masterworks. Wow. Take a look at this. You talk about wow, well, we're changing gears. But how much longer is the charade going to continue? Bitcoin is not decentralized and certainly not anonymous. Where is the public disclosure from Homeland Security that revealed they know who Satoshi Nakamoto is, and it's 4 people? Where is the public disclosure from the SEC and Gary Gensler, and why didn't Jay Clayton tell anybody? Where's the public disclosure from the CFTC, Rostin Benham, Caroline Pham? Where are you at? Senator Toomey, Senator Loomis, Senator Gillibrand, Representative Tom Emmer, Patrick McHenry, Warren Davidson, the list goes on. Where in the hell are you? You got a job to do. Let's get it done. You don't mind taking the check. This is not anyone's speculation. Listen.
So, we had all this pushback from our headquarters, and we thought, hey, if an agent wants to go talk to him and we have some money, why don't we send him? Let's find out how this works. So as it came to be, the agents flew out to California, and they realized that he wasn't alone in creating this. There were 3 other people, and they sat down and met with them and talked to them to find out how this actually works and what their reason for it was. We looked at Bitcoin. It was the most prevalent at that point.
They sat down and they figured out that they talked to all 4 of them. This is Special Agent Rana Sayad from Homeland Security, and SEC was at this conference. Someone needs to answer to this, and I'm going to tell you, we're not going to let off the gas on this because people are being deceived about Bitcoin being decentralized. Coinbase themselves said last year that the revealing of the identity of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, which we now know is real, there is an identity of 4 people, could destabilize Bitcoin and by default, the rest of the crypto market. This is frustrating. So is this. Well, you talk about a charade. Look at the gas fees on Ethereum. $39. What? I can't even. As inflation and rates go up, those Nostro accounts get even more expensive by the day, says Craig DeWitt right here, formerly of Ripple now, founder of Super Mojo. And you better follow him at Real Super Mojo. I bet you he has got something cooking that is going to be fantastic. We will keep an eye on it right there. Shout out to Craig. Euro falls below dollar parity. Well, things are happening all over the world. And in just a second, we're going to get to just a slew of evidence where it is true. The rest of the globe, certainly adversaries to the United States of America, countries that don't like USA, are trying to dethrone the US dollar. I think change is going to come, but we're not going to see it happen the way they'd like to. Stay with me. You'll find out. This right here is from Fred Rispoli. I'm now aware of 7 Ripple expert witnesses. He said it's looking like the 1992 Dream Team, which not only won gold, but massacred every opponent on the way there. Everyone was meticulously chosen to address a highly specialized area of this case, and specifically to avoid overlap with their teammates, to avoid Dalbert challenges. The foresight of the Ripple legal team is inspiring. Every single box checked. And I still don't know the other 3, but have some good ideas. He's not allowed to discuss who they are because he's a lawyer and he can't break his creed that he has. And obviously, we get that. But nevertheless, he said it is powerful and it is going to be something. He said, matter of fact, he said the future is bright for XRP and it's only a matter of time. Thank you for that, Fred. We look forward to catching that list, which we could get within a week or so publicly. This is a clip that takes us to where we're going here today, and it is really talking about the effort globally to dethrone the U.S. dollar. And I'm going to show you why it won't happen the way the world wants it to. Take a listen to this.
We are in a storm right now, headed to a hurricane, a tsunami. Things are not going to get better anytime soon, and people really need to prepare.
Today we're going to talk about the constant movement to dethrone the U.S. dollar. It's an interesting topic because it's true and it is happening. We see many nations around the world who have been big investors in US dollars, bonds, and treasuries. Countries like China, which is one of the largest holders of debt. In the last decade, these trends have reversed, and countries are now dumping all their US bonds and US treasuries. Most countries already don't have trust in the dollar. They can see the foolish behavior of our politicians and bankers at the Federal Reserve, and the fact that they've been playing with the roulette wheel using the dollar as leverage to bully sovereign nations. The other motive I see here for wanting to take out the US dollar is simply because some of these nations really don't like the US very much. Countries like China, Russia, Iran, Pakistan, India, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and many more. Now, all of China's long-range strategy planning has been to weaken and ultimately destroy the United States. And of course, this would involve the complete destruction of everything you've ever experienced in the USA.
But let me tell you why I believe that ain't going to happen the way they think it is. Let's start here. Here's a reminder right here that innovation example includes Ripple cross-border solution with Bank of America. Now, this is not new. We know Bank of America has been tied in with Ripple, and this is just more evidence to support that. You can see how important Ripple and its technology is to the banking system because Bank of America is obviously a true leader in that industry. We found out just recently that BIS shortlisted Ripple. And obviously, they said right here for the challenge of the CBDC solution for which 90% of central banks are exploring. We already know Ripple has a private ledger to launch central banks. You're going to hear from James Wallace in a second that I believe seals the deal of what we're talking about here. But what are we talking about? Well, Stellar 2 has been shortlisted as well from the G20 tech sprint with the BIS. This is very, very, very important because I have believed before I started this channel that XLM and XRP are in fact the true winners here. It was never Bitcoin, and it's certainly not Ethereum. I just showed you the two biggest reasons why it can't be. Looking at this information shows me that BIS, understanding that that is the central bank of central banks of the world. They set tone, they set policy. This is clear to me what is happening. Understanding that the value is in the protocol. While Gary Gensler continues to scare and threaten everything in this industry when it comes to crypto and stablecoins, he says the SEC can use exemptive authority to regulate crypto. And I say, you know what, Gary? So can the U.S. Treasury and FSOC, the Financial Stability Oversight Council. You better be careful, Gary. Gary, you got bigger things to worry about than just losing this case with Ripple. You have to explain why you call Bitcoin a commodity, understanding that we all now know there are 4 people behind Bitcoin, and you should know it. And if you don't explain why you're able to call it a commodity, knowing 4 people created it and it's not truly decentralized, and there is whales that can control and manipulate this price and you shouldn't have your job. How about that one? So let's deal with that before we start going for more crypto jurisdiction. Understand this as we move forward here. The pound sterling stablecoin fully back being launched. Let's also understand that we see right here, Circle issues its first monthly closely detailed reserve for its US dollar-backed stablecoin, showing $55.7 billion in cash and 3-month US Treasury securities at the end of June. This is what it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, right here. This is what a truly regulated and compliant U.S. digital dollar looks like. I'm thinking we're not far away from USD Tether getting its wings clipped. In fact, I believe what you're seeing with USD Tether is even a bigger problem. Let's listen to this first. Listen, if you've heard it, stay with me. We're not done yet.
5 billion by the end of July this year. So the most important thing when you are running a stable coin and you want it to be tethered to the underlying national currency, that in this case is the dollar, is having instruments in your portfolio that track the underlying currency, and of course you have to have the right type of reserves. As we have seen with U.S. Treasuries, we were able to fulfill around $7 billion in redemptions in 48 hours, 10 billion in 1 week, and around 20 billion in 1 month.
Paulo, thank you for that clarification, because I think what you explained there is that Tether is not literally pegged to the dollar. As the name and marketing suggest, it's pegged to your portfolio of...
That's a key point right there, ladies and gentlemen. Somebody give this lady a prize for calling it out for what it is, and it's getting ready to get even deeper. Listen.
Assets, and that worth is determined by what the market believes, which isn't always stable and isn't always a dollar. It went as low as 96 cents earlier this year. So that may not be obvious to everyone. Thank you. Let's move on to those reserves. As you said, you're reducing the amount of commercial paper. You ultimately want to get that to zero. Have you ever used commercial paper holdings as collateral?
No.
You've never used, have you ever used treasuries as collateral?
Not that I know.
And do you have an outside management firm that manages treasury bills and commercial paper and your reserves?
Sorry, can you repeat that question again?
Does an outside firm manage your holdings of reserves of commercial paper, treasury bills, etc.?
No, we have.
No. And it's a no for all of it. And here's the real deal. So what you really have is the admission, I feel, from my digital perspectives here, the CTO from Tether has just admitted on CNBC, from some great questions and reporting, have just admitted that they're a private company that are publicly advertising a digital counterfeit dollar. That's what I just heard. What did you just hear? And do you think it's a mistake and is mutually exclusive that Jeremy Allaire is releasing all of this public transparency of the stablecoin for Circle? Do you think it's a mistake that we know that Circle is also launching the Euro coin for the European Union? Stable coins that are regulated here in this manner and not USD Tether, which I believe is going to get their self hung up not too long in a distant future here. Let's ask ourselves this question very quickly. Think of the list of tokens on all the platforms that are paired to USD Tether. That's a long list. Now think of the list of coins that are actually paired to USD coin. That is not as long a list. In fact, it's a much shorter list. Now think of the fact that regulators and the government come out and sue USD Tether and shut it down. And in fact, you could see the Secret Service, which is in charge of counterfeit money, come out and do exactly that to stablecoin. And if a moment like that happens, I think instantly you're going to see the money from Tether flood from there into USD coin and many other alts, Bitcoin, and things like that. But then imagine this problem. How do you cash out of all those altcoins if they were only paired to Tether? This may be how you get to see 90+% of a crypto space become suffocated from a vacuum and cut off from the rest of the market. Just a thought. Take a look at this. Because the truth is that we all know that there's on and off ramps, and it's important, and we've heard it, and it's become cliche. We got to have the on and off ramps to the digital world before we can have anything really truly take off. That foundation needs to be in place. I think we all understand that. But do we understand it to the depth of what I just painted? What happens if you can't get out of the little ABC123 coin because you only had the doorway and corridor to Tether to get there? I don't know about you, but I'm going to start looking at what USD coin is actually paired to and seeing if any of those things line up for me as a good investment. This is James Wallace explaining how CBDCs and stablecoins are really the native tokens to the ledger. And it may just be that XRP and the CBDCs are really more paired for the ledger there, and stablecoins may find themselves on Stellar. You know, it may be a situation where you see a heavier flow move that way, but I personally believe when it comes to the Ripple private ledger, that may be more the fact than not. So, but listen to this very quickly because this is so important to understand. This is less about the token and more about the protocol. And if your protocol can suit the central bank digital currencies and truly regulated stable coins, those become the native tokens of the ledger, not XRP. XRP just becomes a token that is used to complement and help to make the transactions easier. That's what we're talking about here. Take a listen.
Right, we're using the same technology that it's with the XRP ledger. The token would be the CBDC, right? So the central bank would actually create their own token, a digital euro, digital dollar, whatever the market is, and that becomes the digital asset.
So that becomes the digital asset. Keep listening.
The native coin.
The native coin, yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, where XRP could come into play potentially is when you're looking at cross-border CBDC. So when you have a digital dollar and you have a digital, real, or digital pound, you obviously need to have some way to interact cross-border. Yeah. So I think the BIS call this a multi-CBDC model. One of the ideas is you use a sort of a neutral bridge currency to go from one to the other, similar to the model I explained earlier, with our on-demand liquidity. But the core offering really is not XRP. There's no XRP involved. It's the native token is the CBDC.
And there you have it. James Wallace from Ripple, the head of central bank engagement for central bank digital currencies on the XRP ledger. That's what you have there. Now let's take a look at this from CoinsKid, who talks about a price forecast. He says the next XRP 1.618 target is $6.27, which is a 1,700% move from here. However, mid-cycle ABC June 18th, 1.414, low of 28 cents. So essentially, further targets could be $3.28, $4.30, $6.27, $13.22, $22.25, $29.21. However, this is important to note. For this forecast to remain intact, XRP now has to hold the June 18th low of 0.287, 28 cents. So it's something to keep an eye on here. If this chart is going to play out and give us what we need, we're certainly all looking for it, then we need to see June 18th play out on this chart. Now, I'm not a technical analyst, and I'm grateful for people like CoinsKid, Dark Defender, and many others that share their knowledge here and insights. This is not financial advice from me or them or anyone else. This is just my digital perspectives. I'll catch all of you on the next one.